Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Scrubs, Season 10, Episode 7, My Best Friend's Barbecue. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So, they've just been on a roll lately with me for Scrubs. I'm like, yeah, this needs the jacket, this is full on. I like that Carla was brought back in, and she was used effectively. And, interestingly enough, we got her working with Elliot. We got her working with JD and Turk, but she was a pivotal part of the equation of what was going on in this episode for the A storyline. Then we got some stuff kind of going around for kind of like B, kind of bringing in Elliot's whole kind of thing. JD's whole kind of barbecue escapades, and the interns were getting some interesting stuff as well. And we get an interesting thing at the end with the tech guy that we've been introduced to. So, the big crux of it was that JD's not invited to the barbecue, that he's been there for a while, and it takes us a little bit to get an understanding of why. At first you're thinking it's because we've got the pilot dude and Elliot kind of going to it, and Carla just not wanting to kind of deal with potentially that kind of stuff, but JD's an integral part of their kind of family, and it's got to be some other kind of thing as well. We also get this whole thing of, like, bedside manner, doctor face, and, like, nurse voice and stuff like that. Because we see that JD and Carla are dealing with this dude who is got, like, a severe ranch thing kind of going on. But we know, we learned throughout the episode that it's not really an addiction. His grandma used to do that kind of stuff, and it's kind of a thing that he does to kind of keep her part of it. I mean, he's gone down to a jug of ranch. But we see that kind of like going on further as we're as Carla's able to kind of like be like, hey, you need some help, it's all right to ask for help and everything like that, as she's dealing with menopause throughout the menopause. Sorry, they did a lot of menopause kind of jokes, mango pause and stuff like that throughout the episode that just really kind of booped on my thing. I was like, oh, okay, but she's going through menopause and it's a very fraught time. Turk has essentially become Batman, because the minute Carla pops up, poof, he's able to like disappear like Batman and then just reappear. The camera angles and shots that they're able to do with that just worked very well. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of out of this. I see Carla be like, no, don't deal with me. Like, it's nuts, because we see JD does attempt to try and help her by lessening her patient caseload, and the other nurses are like, yeah, we gonna help you out, we got no problem with this, and then she's like on warpath fire mode, and everyone's like, run, and it's like, and then JD's trying to justify himself, and I'm like, you talk with the person first. I'm like, newbie, oldie, Dr. John Dorian, but no, because we did see that he tried to help her out with making, like, ice cream in the morgue, which was actually a kind of cute thing. And I liked them being together and working on their own, like, having their own kind of one-on-one times. Because that's a thing that you kind of miss after Carla and Turk got together, where they kind of fused them a little bit. And it was like, oh, okay, we can work them together mainly into the storyline. And that kind of lessen certain kind of interactions with other stuff. You could see Carla like working with other kind of characters as well. We've seen that with Elliot here, and her pretty much bringing up to Elliot's like, dude, I thought your rebound would be a lot more interesting than this dude, because he's like fucking Curious as George dude with the hat. It's like, yeah, okay, I kind of get that. She's like, I don't give a frick, and just kind of like bucks off. We also see that the dude's bringing Kansas City barbecue, and Turk's like keeping it low down first, and it's like, they asked him if he was okay for eating sweet barbecue. He's like, yeah, I got like my diabetes thing, which was kind of nuts, because we then saw a commercial for the diabetes thing. It was like, yeah, and then JD's like, it's fine, celebrate. He's like, Kansas City barbecue, meats. Kind of shit. He's like, I mean, they had steak night, man. He would have had to have that. But we see that he then does talk to Carla about it, and she's like, I feel like I'm kind of losing it, and things that used to be, the work used to be hard, but it used to be fun, but it's not fun anymore, and it's just hard. And she does accept lessening her caseload and kind of changing, because that's what we get through and change through as we get older. Sometimes we take on more responsibilities, sometimes we have to offload responsibilities and have you can still have and use your knowledge and expertise, but you do it in different kind of ways. And the great thing is she's really affected by it, but Turk's like, finally. And a great thing is he sits down with her and he's like, listen, you have had my back and you've been my rock and my strength for all these times. And now I get to be that for you. Okay? And it was just a sweet and great moment for both of them. It's like, yay, that's good. And that's the goodness for Turk. And the great thing is, we then see him dealing with this with the interns, with Deshauna specifically, because he's like, oh man, you remind me so much of you. You remind me so much of me when I was like 25 with the tracksuit and bling and everything like that, of being like, I just need to cut things. I don't need to do this shit as... they have to tell people that they have to tell family that they did everything they could, but they're, the dude of the family, the husband, father, died. And she's like, I'm not into this. I don't need the feeling shit. And she just looks so awkward. She really kind of sells it. And she's like trying to get out of it. It's like, all right, you failed that one. Guess what? You get a second try. And it's like, what? And then we understand that this dude had a second fucking family. It's like, I don't know if I want to step on that hand grenade. But it's like, all right, go for it. And the nurses are like, this is one of the best kinds of gossip. The other ones, when the baby comes out the wrong color, it's like, oh shit, fuck. I was like, yeah, that's... those are situations you really don't want to deal with in a hospital. It's like, oh fuck, oh shit. And she's in there and she's just like, I'm fine by myself. He's like, there's gonna be a part where you're gonna have people in your life and they're gonna have emotional needs and everything like that, and it's just gonna be something you have to deal with and you have to get into, and leaving the whole kind of doctor face of like trying to give information that's sometimes bad and as delicately as possible. Of course, that's when Turk runs off and tries to go after Carla and has his nice little moment with her. Let's see. We also get that Amar is like happy as fucking shit and going a little bit crazy of like, like she's really kissing on Asher a lot, and then he like gives her this kind of like little teddy bear, and he's already talked to his father about her, and so like, I just kind of want to keep this cash, and that's of course not what he wants. JD says that Amar kind of reminds him of himself, so it's like, interesting. I would think that he would probably go more on Asher, but it's like, okay. And she's like, yeah, let's do all this kind of stuff, and Shauna's like, yeah, why don't you kind of like build up to it first, do this, do that, and the other, like, I'm gonna buy concessions at a movie theater. It's like, yeah, instead of taking like pistachios in your aunt's giant purse. It's like, yeah, but I understand supporting the theater, but it's like, it's good concessions, you know what I mean? And then bringing up living together with Deshaun, she's like, yeah, you know what, fine, cool. And then of course getting that whole kind of relationship thing and the emotional needs that Turk was talking about. We'll see how that kind of works out. Now, we mainly usually stick to the hospital, which I'm fine with, but it'll be interesting if we kind of go out a little bit more to see what's going on with the interns. We see that Asher's pretty much affected with this. He kind of wanted a little bit more of a serious kind of thing. And Tasha's was like trying to comfort him and everything. Of course, JD pops in and is like, oh shit, sexual tension. It's like, fuck. But that does introduce some interesting kind of bits of like, okay, we might be seeding certain kind of relationships, but that doesn't mean that that'll completely stay the status quo for the interns. It's like, okay, let's see how Tasha and Asher could potentially do something like that. But we've, of course, also seen inklings that could potentially go with Blake as well. But I'm open to a lot. I'm not completely into shipping one way or the other at this point, mainly because that we need a little bit more for the interns to have a little bit more meat on them. We also see that Elliot pretty much tasked Blake with dealing with this patient who believes that they're Mariah Carey, and working on his whole doctor face and everything like that, and feeding into certain kind of delusions. She needs backup dancers and shit, and try to get her like family, and we see him like dancing and shit. It's like, okay, there you go. It's like, and I was like, all right, sweet. Then we kind of get to the end of the episode, and we see that the tech dude, they're looking at him, and it's like, all right, run me through why you have this figurine inside of you. He's like, I didn't want to pay the customs and shit, and the mint condition for this Astro Boy is like $15,000 or whatnot, so I fucking swallowed it or whatnot. And then we get JD and all the interns are like, all right, let's go confer outside. all right, Dr. Face Off, and they're like, holy fucking shit, that Gobi Mint coming out, whatever side. And they're just like, fucking deal with it. It's like, all right, Dr. Face On, check back in. And I love JD as the chief of medicine because it just has a fun, more kind of manic energy where they kind of play more off of each other, where I don't mind like Cox and Kelso having the kind of adversarial kind of effect, but this is a different kind of one where it's like, where even the chief is like, this is some fucked up shit, alright? Work with me, let's see what the rest of the class has right now, alright? Now Cox probably would have had that as well, but it would be a little bit more kind of competitive of like, alright, top 3, let's go. It's like, no, newbie intern, go. No. I was like, all right, you got it. And I can't wait for him to pop back up. We've only got 2 episodes left. So they go back in, and JD's like, all right, we're going in for this shit. Gloving up for it. I look forward to watching this when it comes on, and I love that I have that. The other show that I had for that was What We Do in the Shadows, and it's been a while. I mean, back when it wasn't just like taking a long time sometimes to put out seasons, or just trying to put out so many seasons with not letting them have enough time to actually structure character, story, and plot together. That 70s show had some great fucking classics where I'd be like, I can't wait to watch this tonight. Like, I love shows like that. I used to be Game of Thrones, used to be Walking Dead, all those kind of ones. And this just brings it back because I'm always like, what are we going to do tonight on Scrubs? And I love that, and I'm glad that I have that. Now, if you're not with that, that's quite alright, and I completely get that. I was not expecting the level of quality that we've got here, and I hope that that this smaller season works out and does well enough for them to at least get maybe a longer kind of thing going on. Here's the thing. Sometimes you need a show to go 1 or 2 seasons to find its groove. And killing it right on fucking season 1 isn't really the best shot. It's almost like in an anime where you give it 3 episodes for a shot. Now, that doesn't mean the quality isn't great after a while. Sorry, wrist rest. I like to gesture at the class. Do the amount of episodes that the story kind of demands. Game of Thrones pioneered pretty much the 10-episode format, but that worked in its own use cases. I think that you have to watch out and not put longer episodes because it gets a little bit gnarly. Stranger Things was like, I'm gonna do every fucking thing. Don't do that. Don't make a fucking 2-hour episode. It's like, holy shit, because chopping up a movie into bits fucking sucks. Elongating a TV episode to 2 hours sucks too. Because it still has the pacing of a TV show. And when you're doing a movie, you gotta pace it differently. But this, I hope it works well enough that they continue on and we get these characters again, we get interesting stories. I would be okay if this eventually transitioned to the interns taking the most spot and then the legacy ones taking the guest kind of roles. But the thing is, only if the story works that way for it, because they're great. I love the banter and the energy and the chemistry between the old guard and the new guard. It works. That was kind of the main issue of the fucking teaching hospital that we had. They tried to copy and paste characters, and then there just wasn't the kind of chemistry between the old guard and the new guard. Here, I think they worked with the writers and the actors and figured out what worked well for them, and at least in my case is how I like it and seeing what's kind of going on. So even though we're getting 9 episodes here, I hope potentially that other seasons will get more, or that we get it and it just works for the quality, and I'm fine with a good show that I look forward to watching. I would just take it like 9 to 10 episodes. It would suck, but I'm like, oh, it's almost over, but I'm like, it's good, and I'm enjoying it, and that's all that fucking matters. And that's more than I could ask for at this point. And a little tidbit, Carla was pretty much making sure that JD wasn't invited so that way he'd be pushed out of his comfort zone and that she wouldn't be coddling him so that way he could go out and get someone that they could actually have a conversation with. So I needed to put that in there as well. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.